Outlander Season 8 is racing toward its long-awaited conclusion. And if the series has taught fans anything, it's to brace for heartbreak. With the final chapter approaching, expectations are sky-high, and so are the fears. Historically, Outlander doesn't shy away from emotional devastation, shocking twists, or moments that leave viewers completely undone. That's exactly why the final season faces such a daunting challenge. Delivering one last, unforgettable gut punch without feeling repetitive may be its hardest task yet. Diana Gabaldon's novels provide a deeply emotional roadmap, and on paper, the story of the show appears to be building toward has all the ingredients for a powerful ending. If executed well, Season 8 could offer a conclusion that feels earned, intimate, and resonant. But television has limits that books don't chief among them: time. With a condensed final season, there's a real risk that moments which unfolded slowly and devastatingly on the page could feel rushed or muted on screen, complicating matters. Even further is the fact that Gabaldon's book series isn't finished. 9 Outlander novels have been released so far, but the 10th and final installment has yet to arrive. That puts the TV adaptation in an unusual position, its ending before the source material does. Season 8 will largely draw from Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, the 9th novel and the most recent completed entry in the saga. While that book contains a major turning point that could serve as a natural stopping point, adapting it into a satisfying television finale is anything but simple. The show must juggle multiple responsibilities at once, wrapping up long-running character arcs, honoring the spirit of the books, and delivering emotional payoff to fans who have been invested for years. And towering over all of that is one storyline in particular: Jamie Fraser's apparent death. In Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, Jamie marches into the American Revolution as it finally erupts in full force in North Carolina. By this point, the Frasers and the Mackenzies can no longer avoid the conflict. The Battle of Kings Mountain pulls them directly into history. The Continental Army ultimately wins the battle, but history also records that Jamie Fraser dies there. Brianna uncovers this chilling detail while researching historical records, and the knowledge terrifies her. Still, Jamie goes to fight, fully aware of what fate supposedly has in store. When the battle ends and he doesn't return, Claire is devastated, convinced she has truly lost her husband. Her grief is absolute. But this is Outlander, and things are never quite what they seem. Driven by despair and an almost supernatural pull, Claire makes her way to the battlefield. Guided by love, instinct, and destiny, she finds Jamie barely clinging to life. Using her hard-won medical knowledge and sheer force of will, she saves him. In the books, this moment carries immense emotional weight. It reinforces the idea that Jamie and Claire's lives are inseparable, bound not just by love, but by fate itself. On television, however, that impact may not hit as hard, and Season 7 is the reason why. In Season 7, Claire was led to believe Jamie had died when the ship he was meant to take back to the colonies was lost at sea. Her grief consumed her. She withdrew from the world, numbing her pain with alcohol, unable to imagine life without him. Then, in classic Outlander fashion, Jamie returned, very much alive, revealing he had switched ships at the last moment. The emotional payoff was enormous. Claire's despair turned into laughter and relief, and viewers were taken on an intense emotional roller coaster that ended in joy. It was a powerful sequence, but it created a serious problem for the final season. If Season 8 once again asks viewers to believe Jamie is dead, it risks feeling repetitive. In the books, this wasn't an issue. Jamie's presumed death at sea and his near-death experience at King's Mountain were separated by 2 novels and more than a decade of real-world publishing time. On television, those events are practically back-to-back. Audiences haven't had enough distance from the last fake-out, which means another one could feel predictable rather than shocking. Instead of holding their breath, viewers may simply assume Jamie survives, and that assumption drains the tension from what's meant to be a climactic moment. That's why Jamie's brush with death in Season 8 risks feeling anticlimactic. Despite its narrative importance, For a final season, that's a dangerous place to be. Outlander needs an ending that feels bold, emotionally devastating, and unforgettable, not one that relies on familiar tricks. So how does the show handle this storyline without undermining its own impact? Killing Jamie outright would certainly shock audiences. But it would also be a massive departure from the books and likely alienate fans who have followed this love story for years. At its core, Outlander has always been about Jamie and Claire facing impossible odds together. Ending the series by killing Jamie purely for shock value would betray that foundation, even if it stunned viewers in the moment. A more compelling approach would be shifting the focus away from whether Jamie lives or dies, and instead centering the story on Claire. In the books, Brianna's discovery of Jamie's recorded death isn't just a warning, it's a catalyst. Knowing what history claims will happen pushes Claire to intentionally develop and trust her healing abilities. The tension comes not from surprise, but from anticipation. Can Claire change fate? Can love and knowledge rewrite history? In this version of the story, the emotional weight rests on Claire's fear, growth, and determination, not the shock of Jamie's fall. If the show leans into that angle, Jamie's near-death experience could still be devastatingly powerful. Even if viewers assume he'll survive, the journey there could be gripping. Watching Claire wrestle with destiny, history, and her own limitations taps directly into one of Outlander's core themes, that love, choice, and courage can sometimes bend the course of what seems inevitable. Adding to the uncertainty is the fact that even the cast doesn't fully know how the story ends. Sam Heughan has openly admitted that despite filming wrapping in September 2024, the final shape of the ending remains unclear even to the actors. That uncertainty highlights how much the finale depends on editing, pacing, and final creative decisions. For now, the cast is in the same position as the fans. Waiting to see how it all comes together, showrunner Matthew B. Roberts has promised that Season 8 will raise the stakes across the board. The Revolutionary War will continue to loom over Fraser's Ridge, impacting not just Jamie and Claire, but everyone connected to them. On top of that, lingering mysteries from Season 7, like the revelation that Jane and Fanny may be connected to Jamie and Claire's long-lost daughter, Faith will add even more emotional weight as the story barrels toward its conclusion, because the show is ending before Gabaldon finishes her final book. Season 8 will inevitably diverge from the source material. That's risky, but it also gives the series a rare opportunity to craft its own definitive ending. Heughan has said he hopes fans feel the show honored the characters and the years of emotional investment they've poured into this world. Wrapping up Outlander was never going to be easy. But the goal is clear. Deliver a conclusion that feels meaningful, even if it doesn't perfectly mirror what Gabaldon eventually writes. In the end, Season 8 has everything it needs for a powerful finale, a legendary love story. The chaos of war, unresolved family mysteries, and the looming possibility of loss. Whether it truly succeeds will come down to execution. If Outlander can move beyond shock value and focus on the emotional and thematic heart of the story, it still has a chance to end on a note that feels both satisfying and unforgettable. And that's it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.